You ever notice how, when you open a book about a hero, it always starts as some average person? Well, that's because that's what heroes are. They're just people, just like you or me. They're always born under harsh circumstances and rise above the obstacles to become something greater. A hero. Of course, along with that is usually something amazing happening to them to kickstart that journey, like, an ancient holy relic giving them powers, or an old sword of a hero being drawn by them and binding itself to them. Some guys get all the luck. Not me, though. Nope. You want to know how mine started? Getting told I sucked at hunting by some old hag. In fact, it happens right about...
You aren't holding it right.
Oh, What is your deal?
I just told you. What, are you deaf? You're holding the bow wrong. You're spitting on any of your ancestors that used it in the beautiful art of hunting. How do you sleep at night?
Just fine, thank you. And speaking of which, I was sleeping like a rock this morning before you started banging on my door making all that racket, you old bat!
Do you think these old bones could still hunt? Please. My time is past. Which is why you should be thanking me for doing this. Here I am passing down my knowledge to the newer generation, and you'd rather sleep. Pitiful!
Can you blame me? The sun's barely up!
Well, of course. If you're tired, so are the animals. That's why you get them before they're perfectly aware. And keep your voice down.
You're yelling too.
You're still holding it wrong. Your bow is in the wrong hand.
What do you mean I've always fired it like this?
Ha! No wonder you need lessons so bad. What hand is your best?
What? My right hand.
Then hold the bow in your left hand. You use your stronger hand to pull back the bowstring. This is bow basics. Who taught you how to shoot?
My father did. Who else?
Your father was left-handed. You dunce.
Ow! Stop hitting me, you relic!
Shh! You see that beautiful creature? That buck, about 125 feet away.
Oh. Yeah, I see him. Damn, he's big. He don't skip any meals.
He sure doesn't, which makes him even better food. Alright, do as I showed you.
Okay, left hand here, right hand here, and the arrow.
Good. Just aim carefully and focus, 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 focus.
I'm trying, but I have this weird ringing in my ear that sounds like an old lady nagging.
Rookie mistake, letting your surroundings distract you. Don't be a fool. Just take a breath and aim and focus.
Yeah, I got it. The buck knelt down to take a sip from the pond, elegantly dipping its face downward. It was almost ashamed to do this, but we were hungry and poor. I took aim once more, and after a few moments, I let the arrow fly.
That was much better.
Yeah, thanks.
Too bad you didn't hit the damn buck.
This is stupid! Why can't I just sneak up and use a knife or a sword or something? I'm better at those!
Don't rely on savagery to get you everywhere. Just because you scraped by with being a sneaky little rat when you were young doesn't mean you can now. Sneaking around people is one thing. You try sneaking up on an animal with advanced senses in their domain and see how far you get.
I could do it. I'm a great sword fighter.
You are a decent one. That's about it. If you were grey, you'd be a knight, and not a scout for the knights. Slacker.
Jeez, you're brutal.
Oh, how I wish I could be training Edith. You spent all that time around each other, and all you inherited from her was an attitude. One that she knows how to control, by the way.
Edith doesn't need your training. Neither do I, by the way. I've hunted plenty of times without you.
God knows how. Such a shame Edith went to join the Knights. I miss her.
Yeah, doesn't have a lot of time for us little folk these days.
Is that a twinge of jealousy in your voice?
Shut up. I'm not jealous. I'm happy for her.
Oh, please. As if you don't want to be a knight. Ever since you were young, it was knight this, knight that.
Being a scout is an honor. I'm happy with that.
I'm expecting your nose to start growing any moment.
Whatever, are we done here?
Absolutely not. You haven't caught a damn thing. No fish, no meat, not even so much as a blueberry. We're not leaving until you have enough for a multi-course meal.
Evil witch, I'll spit on your grave.
Go ahead. I'll be buried ass up so you can kiss it when I'm dead.
She had me there for hours, shooting arrow after arrow, casting line after line into the local pond. I was exhausted and annoyed. When I arrived at home, I saw that there was a notice on my door. I picked it up and I read it quickly. It was from the captain of the Knights, Richter. He was my personal hero, so when I saw it was from him, well, suffice to say, I kind of freaked out. I'll spare you the details, just know I did a very, very stupid dance. Someone saw it was awkward. Anyway, I went to the keep, where Richter was, to see what he wanted.
Alright, slow down. Quit running around with heavy equipment. Arlak, I see you over there sitting down doing nothing. Pick up a broom or something. Hey! Quit carrying swords without their sheaths. What is this, barbaric times? Heavens.
Sir Richter, Scout Private Alexander Roy reporting for duty.
Sorry. I have a roughly million things running through my head. Who are you?
I'm a Scout Private, sir. I was given a notice on my door to come see you.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Hello, Private Roy. Thank you for coming to see me immediately.
Of course, it's my pleasure to serve, sir.
Excellent. I need you to do something for me, Private.
Yes, anything. I'm ready to prove myself.
I'm sure you are. I need you to find First Sergeant Edith Toombs for me. Tell her I need to see her. I haven't seen her all day.
That's all? You just want me to find Edith for you?
Yes, that's all.
I see. Yes, I'll find her, sir.
See that you do. Hey! Damn it, Arlak! Would you do something?
Richter was my hero, so him asking me to do something for him was definitely something I took seriously. Although, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hurt. Okay, let's not bullshit anyone. I was seriously dejected. Felt like I got rejected by a hot girl. It sucked. But he asked me to do something, so I did. I looked for Edith for only about 15 minutes before I found her at a table inside a bar. She was being loud, being obnoxious, and being the center of attention, so she was being Edith. I approached her, trying not to spoil the mood.
Oh, but the best part. Where do you hear this? The best part is when I actually pulled him off the horse and arrested him. He already had a bounty, so when I turned him in, I did my daily dose of good deeds. But I also pocketed some gold to buy me something nice.
Jeez, I could hear you across town.
Huh? Ah, there's my shadow, always following my ass around. Starting to think you like the look of it.
Don't flatter yourself. Get your arm off me, goof. It's good to see you, Busy Bee.
You too. Hey, don't get too crazy without me. I'm gonna go talk to my little brother here.
Little brother? Yeah, right. I'm older than you. Besides, we aren't related.
Xander. When will you learn? It's not the years, it's the moments. You just come to mess with my good time or what?
For sure. Here to keep you in check. Anything that's the strongest ale they got.
You know me too well. You want a round? I'm buying.
Wish I could, but I'm here on business.
You, business. The same sentence? Did the Doomsayer wake up late today?
Jackass. Captain Richter wants to see you.
Ugh, that guy again. All work, no play. What a pain.
You kidding? I'd change places with you in a heartbeat. I'd love to work alongside him.
Look, your weird crush on him aside, all he does is work, fight, fill out paperwork, and kiss ass. It ain't all it's cracked up to be, because I expect you to do the same thing. Believe me, I'd switch places with you, minus the pay cut. Mama likes that.
You want me to find a mirror so you can check yourself out while you're at it? Come on, he wants to talk to you. Now, I'm assuming.
Yeah, fine. Go on without me. Guys, I'm gonna go back to work.
Sounds like you were having a blast.
Another day, another round of applause from my adoring fans.
Lucky you. I spent all morning getting slapped on the wrist for holding a bow wrong.
Man, Gladys really has it out for you. When is she gonna let you grow up and mess things up on your own?
Hey, I do plenty of things right. I'm a good sword fighter.
You are!
Don't say it.
Just not great.
You two are relentless.
Hey, you're talented. Always have been. But let's face it, Squared. You're untrained and totally relying on instincts to carry you through your battles. Eventually you're gonna have to take a dueling class at the very least.
I don't need some tutor.
Dude, I needed a tutor, and I beat you every time we fought. You definitely need a tutor.
Yo, there's a market stall right there if you want to see if they have any more salt to rub in this wound.
Hey, don't get snippy. I'm just saying. Besides, it's a requirement that Knights pass training courses. How many have you taken? Oh, you can't even count on one hand, because that number is 0.
You can't afford them.
They're free.
You always have something to say, don't you? I escorted, well, air quotes, over escorted, Edith to Richter. He gave her an earful, and she didn't seem too bothered by it. It was obvious she wouldn't be punished. She was way too damn good at what she did. Richter stopped me before we turned to leave and pulled me aside.
Private Ray, I have something for you.
That's Roy, sir.
Right, of course, Private Roy. There's been talks of some sort of commotion happening in the forest in the southwestern part of our city. Now you know as well as I, if that were to continue, it would cause some unrest. We don't want that now, do we, Private Roy?
No, sir. But do you think I'll ever get to go on a mission with you guys? I think I'd be a big help.
Oh, believe me, this is a mission.
This is a mission. Yep, right. I wasn't very happy about basically taking a walk through the forest to find nothing. Also, the prospect of being in the same place I had been in a day before was annoying. I got my wrist slapped so many times that it looked red. I left my chainmail at home and just decided to wear an old tunic. That's how confident I was that I would find literally nothing there. To put things bluntly, I was bored. I'd been in the forest for like 2 hours at that point, and my admiration for Richter wore off quick. In exchange for irritation and frustration, I was pissed. I knew my abilities were being wasted on a lackluster mission that would ultimately net me no action, no pay, and no reputation. This was a waste of time. Unfortunately for me, I had to be there for a little while longer yet. I didn't eat breakfast that morning as I was way too excited to wolf anything down. Instead, I went hungry. Huge mistake. My stomach was growling like it was a bear. Ah, damn it. You're louder than I was yesterday, stomach. Need to find something to eat. I returned to my little encampment and grabbed a few hunting supplies. I looked at the bow for a bit before deciding that once again, I didn't need the damn thing. I just grabbed my hunting knife, stuck it in its sheath on my side, and sought out my prey. I came across a clearing where I saw the buck the day before. I figured if he came here once, he might show up again. I laid down a net trap and slung it over a sturdy branch. Once it was locked in place, I picked up leaves off the trees around me and laid them over the trap neatly until you couldn't see any of the net. Once I was pretty sure it looked good, I walked off to hunt down some prey. Now that we've established that I'm an amazing hunter, let's fast forward 2 hours to me not finding squat. I found nothing, not so much as a squirrel scampering off. I was definitely getting weirded out very quickly. Not that I was scared of something sneaking up on me, but the consistent silence was eerie. The only thing I heard was the wind and occasional birds chirping. Never even saw the birds, though. Jeez, who died in this forest? It's a graveyard. I was getting frustrated and spooked. I knew I had to do something, so I headed back to my encampment and picked some berries along the way. I knew they weren't poisonous. I'd been in the forest several times and recognized the good from the bad. I sat down and began writing my report, occasionally munching on a few of them. Report from Private Roy. This is a continuance from my previous report where I found nothing. Update, still nothing. I've been looking for a commotion or a disturbance all day and I've discovered nothing. Beginning to think it was a misunderstanding or, at best, some kid's imagination. Checked sectors A through G without anything unusual. Saw some weird slashes on some trees that I hadn't noticed before, but it was likely just a bear or wolf chasing its prey. As the breeze picked up, I swore I heard a distant whisper carry through the wind. I looked up and around my surroundings, but nothing was there. To say I was on edge would be an understatement. I was definitely spooked. I decided to try to ignore it and continue writing. Gonna go check around sectors H through K after I take a rest, though I doubt I'll find anything. Wonder what commotion these people could mean. I was never given a reference or anything. It could be a group of troublemakers, it could be a pack of wolves, it could be a rabbit shitting on some crops. At this point, I want something to show up. I heard it again. This time it felt less like a distant whisper and more of a deep echo, like a call. I couldn't tell if it was a person or an animal making the sound, but I definitely knew it wasn't the wind. I slowly put down my journal and picked up my short sword. I stayed sitting, trying to stay perfectly still. I'd like to say it was because I was heightening my senses, but I was just scared as hell. The call happened again. This time it felt like it was behind me. I jumped up, whipped around, and tried to act tough. Alright, who's there? I don't know what game you're playing, but I'm not laughing. You want to come test me, feel free. I've got a sword and lots of training. It was a large knife at best, and no, I didn't. Show yourself, come on! After I was done flexing my bravado, the sound of an intense roar nearly exploded my eardrums. I knew it was nearby, but the sound was unlike anything I'd ever heard in my entire life. It was indescribable to someone who didn't hear it themselves. It wasn't earth-shattering, but it was demoralizing, as if to inspire awe and fear. I nearly jumped out of my boots when I heard it. My eyes bulged and I knew whatever it was big, it was angry, and it could likely rip my spine out. I was going to run away, and then I remembered I had a job to do. I'm a scout, I have to do this. Besides, what that could it be? Probably just a big bear or something. Ha! Fat chance. When I went in the direction of the roar, I heard growls and grumbles coming from ahead. It appeared to be in the clearing that I had just been in earlier. As I fanned the brush of leaves out of my face, I saw the source of the roar, and it was, in the easiest way to describe it, very much not a big bear. What I saw before me was the most majestic creature I'd ever seen in my entire life. Butterflies are described as that feeling in your stomach of excitement or exhilaration. Well, imagine that, but the butterflies are in your soul. I felt a sense of divine enchantment. Before me was a black dragon, entangled in the net of my trap. It wasn't huge, but it was still really big. I'd say it would have taken us about a 6 of me to match it in size. I was awestruck. It hadn't noticed me yet. It pawed and clawed at the webbing of my trap, growling in frustration as it did. Dragons were normally very wise and not easily trapped, but this one must have been too comfortable. A thought seeped into my mind. Dragon slayers were regarded as true heroes of humanity. If I were to become one. Before I could even dare finish that thought, though, it noticed me.
「 mortal.
1 word and I froze in place. 'Mortal.' 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 1 word I was petrified. Its piercing red eyes locked onto me as if I was prey, even though it was trapped and I was free. Its black horns curled down like a ram's and its fangs poked under its lips. I gulped. You can understand my language?
Of course I can. You act as though it's so complicated that I couldn't learn it within minutes of hearing it. Besides, you humans love to talk. I picked up on it rather quickly.
I never read that dragons could talk.
Do your books also include how impatient we are?
I guess I missed that chapter.
You look like you missed every chapter in any book you've ever read.
What'd you say?
Oh, you're getting upset now. I forgot how sensitive you lot are. All your whimpering and whining, and what do you have to show for it? Some buildings and a loose sense of society.
Jeez, I wish dragons couldn't talk at this point. You're obnoxious.
And you're wasting my time. I don't suppose you know who put up this treacherous contraption.
And what if I did?
Well, obviously, I would free myself and treat myself to a stew of his organs.
Okay, so, funny story. You're gonna laugh, it's hilarious. It was meant for, like, a deer or something. Not a giant lizard with wings.
Firstly, this trap is yours. And secondly, did you just call me a lizard with wings? Do I look like a gecko to you, idiot?
You look like you're a little tied up at the moment, that's for sure.
I'll get a stage and go perform in a tavern. We have a jester on our hands. Where's your makeup, clown?
Oh, I'm the clown! Aren't you supposed to be all wise, all knowing, all aware, and you fall for some leaves and string?
You can't talk down to me, you insolent brat. Even behind this minorly annoying trap, I could bite your face off.
Okay, do it.
Give me a minute and I will.
Sure, I'll be here.
You must find yourself quite amusing. That smirk on your face must feel pretty good standing 30 feet away. Yet your knees still tremble.
What are you even doing here?
I go where I please. I do not need a written note from my father to go wherever I want. How dare you even ask me that? Besides, what do you care? Have you heard of any humans going missing lately?
I suppose not.
I come to this forest now and then. It's quiet and serene. It's just beautiful. The woodland creatures come out of their holes and say hello now and then. It's just very relaxing. But why am I explaining this to you? It's none of your concern.
Those slashes on the trees. They were from you, weren't they?
Well, yes. I can occasionally lose control of my wings when low in flight. Sometimes I need to clutch onto the trees to keep from, how would you say it, wiping out.
So you must be the commotion I was sent to check out.
They sent you. Just you? Oh, that's rich. No one smart, strong, or at the very least, handsome available.
What? Shut up! You look like a pissed off chameleon!
You shut it, hairless monkey.
Long-necked toad!
Manlet.
Ugh!
This has been fun, but I've been meaning to ask, what exactly do you plan to do with that sword anyway? Planning on becoming a legend, are we?
Up until that point, I hadn't realized that I was still clutching my short sword in my hand. I looked down at it and quivered. I did want to, even if I kind of hated myself for it. I felt that I deserved it in a sick way. felt that I needed it. I imagined what my life would be like if I came back with the head of a dragon and my heart soared. After all, this one was particularly annoying the hell out of me.
Well, I haven't got all day. If you're going to come kill me, I'd prefer you hurry it up. Looking at you is making me hungry, and I don't want to die on an empty stomach. Just do yourself a favor. When you turn my head in, try not to say you killed me in some trap where I couldn't fight back. It would really damage your credibility.
I gulped. That was nothing short of a direct challenge. My knees trembled as I began walking over to the creature. Anxiety started to set in my mind. Were they really just surrendering to me? I couldn't believe it. Each step I took, the air became hotter, as if there was pure heat emanating from the dragon's scales. It wasn't boiling hot, but I could feel warmth and life exuding from its body. I reached its body and stopped. I reached out with my other hand and hesitantly touched its scales. They felt like hard cartilage, and the warmth they gave off was mesmerizing. To touch a dragon up close and personal was exhilarating.
I appreciate the massage, but are you going to fill me up or stab me to death? This is getting rather droll. Would you please just stick your little knife in me?
You're not afraid to die?
Of course not. My soul will be reborn into another dragon, on and on forever. This body of mine doesn't mean a lot to me in the grand scheme of things. Now hurry it up. Just because I can survive death doesn't mean it feels good.
I looked into its divine red eyes one last time before it turned away, seemingly accepting death. I looked forward, my hands still on the scales. I felt the warmth on my fingertips as the gentle breeze blew through my hair. I felt at peace. Even with this monstrous being in front of me, able to tear my heart out and eat it before I would even die, I felt at peace. Which is why, of course, I did something very, very stupid. I grabbed the net and sliced through it, completely severing it from the dragon. The net fell apart into pathetic strands of twine and steel, and the dragon rose to all fours. It looked down for a moment before turning to look at me. It turned its body and put its face right in mine. I smelled blood on its breath and saw death in its sharp eyes. It eyed me as if contemplating me. Several moments passed, my possible execution, before it spoke.
Fool.
Before I could reply, its wings flapped forcefully, causing an intense gust of wind as it took flight into the sky. I guarded my face and spread my legs to avoid being knocked over. The force was immense and striking, and when I looked up, the only thing I saw was the shaking of the trees around me. The dragon was gone, as if it had never been there at all.